Okay, so I'm going to show you how I make my whipped shea butter. What I start off with first is I get all of my ingredients and I lay them out on the stove or wherever it's comfortable for you. I've been known to do this on the couch as well, but it kind of got a little messy in the living room. So, I have written down my recipe and I'm going to follow it exactly. I've been doing this for about 3 or 4 months now. I haven't really had to make it that much since I make such a large quantity of it the first time. So I've already added in my 10 ounces of my shea butter, and it's unrefined, and it came in this container. So I just cleaned this container out because I'm going to put the shea butter back in, the whipped shea butter back in there. And I also have some extra containers in the back because I think I'm going to make a little bit more than the 10 ounces that the shea butter actually came in. So I'm going to add a cup of extra, can you see that? Organic extra virgin coconut oil. And I do have measuring cups out here so that I can be precise. Sometimes I go a little bit overboard, but it's okay. Alright, I should have opened this before I started the video. Alright, now this was just warmed in the microwave on like 10 seconds so I could get it to liquefy. And that is 1 cup. I'll add that in there. Next, I'm going to add the jojoba oil in, and that's 1 tablespoon of jojoba oil. And I'm using the Desert Essence, but I also use the Now Solutions, also has a jojoba oil. I also use them too, but since this is what I had on hand, I used them. So there is 1 tablespoon of jojoba oil. And then I'm going to move on to my ½ tablespoon of vitamin E oil. Now at the end I will explain, well maybe not explain, I'll probably just put on here what each oil does for the hair and the reasons why I chose them to add into my whipped shea mix. Alright, there's my vitamin E, and that's Vitamin E by Nature's Gate. After that, I'm moving on to the teaspoon measurements. And my teaspoon measurements includes the, the Pompeii extra virgin olive oil. Alright, and I don't bother wiping out the teaspoon thing because I mean if it's adding extra stuff into my whipped shea mix, that's good. I don't mind. Alright, that's a teaspoon of that. I have a teaspoon of castor oil. The castor oil is the Now Solutions brand. Okay. That. And then I also have avocado oil. And that is the Now Solutions brand. I'm almost out of that. I really like avocado oil. And I use it just by itself normally because it's really good with sealing in moisture and keeps my scalp from getting dry because I battle with that, dry scalp a lot. Alright, and then for smell, because I love the smell of lavender, I'm adding in the Ora Acacia Lavender Essential Oil. Now these you don't have to use very much for because they're so concentrated. So I only add in about 10 drops. Alright, that's enough for that. And I also use tea tree oil because tea tree oil keeps my scalp from being so itchy. And I'm also adding 10 drops of that, if they'll come out. I also love the smell of bergamot. I'm not sure why. I know some people say that's like a old smell, but I really love the smell of bergamot. So I'm going to add about 5 drops of bergamot in just for smell. I'm trying to put the rest of that back in there since I didn't use that much. Alright, and that's it. As far as adding the ingredients in. And I place my lid on there, and I use the blender option and not the liquefiers. I don't want it to get too creamy, so I just use the blend option. Stop it and smush them around in there a little bit so that I can get blended. So the consistency, the way I like my whipped shea is like the consistency almost of a lotion, because then it's easier to get to all of your hair strands. I'm just going to mix this up a little bit because I still see chunks of the unrefined shea not mixed in. So, but if you notice, let me show you how it's coming out. It has like, almost like a cake batter. I don't know if you can see that, like a cake batter. Let's see. Maybe not even cake batter, but just like a whipped lotion-y kind of feel to it. And that's what I like to go in my hair and hands, body, everything. Yeah, it makes it a little, I have dry skin, so my hands and legs and everywhere else soaks up oils and stuff like a towel. Alright, so let me mix that a little bit more in there. Roughly about a little bit more than 16 ounces, which lasts me a very long time. I think I'm just now starting to run out of the one that I made in, I think, June or maybe even May. I'm just starting to run out of it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the jar that it came in, the original unrefined shea butter. I'm going to take it and I'm just going to pour the contents of my blender into it. Tearing up my blender. And as it sits, like, because I don't really use it the first, like when I first pour it out, I don't use it. I let it sit for a few hours so that it can solidify. So this is a 10-ounce jar. fits. Alright, that's it for that 10-ounce jar. And I try to put some for my husband aside because he uses it also. He shaves his head bald and it soothes his head after he shaved it. And he also uses it on his body, so I make enough for him also. It's one of those fun for the whole family kind of things. So that's an 8-ounce jar that I'm putting that in. And these jars, these are just jars that I've purchased other products in. And then I was like, I can just wash these out and reuse them. So that's what I did. Like this jar here is actually a jar that some Shea Moisture, probably their curling souffle came in. So I just washed it out and took the label out. And I'm gonna start reusing the jar. So I'm going to spoon the rest of this in there. And I love this because cleanup is a breeze for whipped shea butter, because all you gotta do is put some hot water in there. And I don't use my blender for cooking, so I'm not worried about like cross-contamination between my hair products and my cooking, my food and stuff like that, because I don't even use my blender for cooking. I mainly use it for the whipping of my shea butter. Quite 8 ounces, it's a little bit below 8 ounces, but close enough. And that's it. I have my 2 containers of whipped shea, and like I said, it'll solidify a little bit more, not to its original state like when it was in that hard rock almost form, but it'll get a little more firm as time progresses. I'm gonna let it sit for a couple hours before I I'll post a picture at the end of what it looks like when it's completely done with its stuff. So I'll be back at the end to show you its solidified state. Or not solidified state, but semi-solidified state. Okay, it's about 2 hours later, and I'm back to look at the finished product. See if I can get closer. It's a little porous. But as you can see, it's a little thicker than what it was when I finished blending it. And I'm going to stick a straw and scrape it through there so you can see. And there's your finished whipped shea. And it'll probably get a little bit thicker as it continues to just sit, especially with the temperature. If it gets a little warm in here, it'll probably, well, if it gets a little cooler in here, it'll more than likely get a little thicker. But that's it. Alright, I hope y'all enjoyed this tutorial. Let me know what you think in the comment box below. Bye!